Welcome to Reformed and Real, where we take a journey with our people fresh out of prison and we see how the community around them really feels. My name is Mario Hernandez. I'm one of the afflicted people that got released back into the community, and we're here to figure out how this looks.
And I'm Wayne Burt, curious onlooker who wants to know about our prison system, get to know the stories beyond the stigma of incarceration, because like Mario, I believe all stories count.
Yes, they do. Wayne, welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks for hosting me again.
Yeah, thanks for hosting me, yeah.
I'm like your roommate by now.
Yeah. Last night I ran into you at Tree Fort. That was pretty cool.
It was cool. Yeah, very cool. A lot of people, and then sounds from all sides, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like a quad stereo system. It was like, what is a stereo system with 3 speakers?
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
They don't have a word for it.
Yeah, there's no word.
There's stereo
Dolby
system.
5 and there's Atmos 7.1 or whatever. I don't know. So, Wayne, we have a special guest, an old friend of mine. For those of you that don't know and don't remember, I've done some prison time myself, a few years. And in my last stint, I ran into a gentleman. His name's Rodney Araiza. And Rodney, welcome to Reformed and Real. We appreciate you coming.
Thank you. Thank you for accepting me.
Yeah, and now that I already gave your name up, why don't you give it up again for us?
My name is Rodney Araiza. Yep. I served 42 years in prison, and here I am now, enjoying life. Been out 2 years now, and I'm enjoying life out here in society with Mario.
Good.
Yeah, 42 years.
Yeah, that's a good stint.
Yeah.
When did it all start?
Started back in 1982. I went in when I was 16 years old and got out when I was 59, right on my birthday.
Wow. Yeah.
I turned 17.
Yeah, that's a stint, my friend. Yeah. Did you come from a place that you knew people, like your parents, anybody who were already incarcerated, like during your childhood? Do you have a bad childhood? Do you have a good childhood?
I had a pretty bad childhood.
Did you?
Yeah, grew up in an alcoholic, dysfunctional family, migrant family. Yeah, it was pretty bad. I had a father that was very abusive, violent towards me. Taught me how to drink, use alcohol, steal, do all the rotten things that you're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
It was a learning experience, thinking as, when your parents teach you to do something, you think, it's supposed to be something good. So I believed in it and I rode with it, and it took me to prison. Actually, it took me to reform school first, county jails, and then ultimately it led me to prison.
Mm-hmm. One thing led to another. Was there some addiction involved in that?
Yes. By the time I was 11 years old, I was already addicted to alcohol and drugs.
Gotcha.
My first stint was actually the county jails, and then I did a reform school in St. Anthony here in Idaho. I did like 2 terms there.
We might have been there together. What years were you there?
I was there in, I think it was late in 81, and then because it was in January 82 when I came to prison. I got locked up for the prison term. So between 79 and 81.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was there in 86.
86? Yeah.
I did a year at St. Anthony back in 1986.
You did one stint.
A one piece.
A one piece.
I did a one piece.
St. Anthony's. Yeah.
Rodney, one of the things that we like to tell people about us is, first of all, where we came from. And you told us a little bit about, your history, your, alcoholism, your family, you got taught to drink. And did you get involved in gangs when you were young?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
After when I got out of St. Anthony and I ended up going to California, I got on an interstate somehow. My father got me out my first time out of St. Anthony. I did like about 6 months there, and then he got me out because I wasn't going to make it out. I was going to be there for a while, and so I wasn't really adjusting, and it was getting bad for me. So somehow my father got me out, and they flew me to California. Once I got there, and I was in L.A. Southgate, and I learned how to navigate the streets of California, and got into the gangs there. So then I think it was I ended up getting in trouble for a B&E, they call it, breaking and entering. I got caught into the house, and instead of going through the process of the courts, my father took me back to Idaho, brought me back to Idaho. When I came back to Idaho found out that I was running from over there, and they ended up sending me back to St. Anthony. I did another term in St. Anthony. After that term, I did another about 4 months, 5 months. But since I already knew the first time, I knew how to manipulate my way out. I got myself out a little faster. I spent about 4 months there.
Without getting into the details, too much. When you went to prison, you were pretty well influenced by a lot of people around you, right? It's hard to be that young in prison and not have people affect how you think and where you go, who you hang out with, where you sit.
Yeah, I would say I was influenced. I was very impressionable still. I was still, at the age.
Still a baby.
Yeah, still a child, and I wanted to always fit in. So all the elder convicts that were there, knew how to bring me in and manipulate me into doing things that I shouldn't be doing. And it left me to live a life of always being in trouble with the Department of Corrections. I was pretty much well despised and hated by the correctional guards because I was really bad. I always was in trouble with them, because I didn't want to listen to them. But that's how the convicts brought me up to live. It was us against them.
Yeah. So when I ran into Rodney was 2017, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And at that time, you're still looking at what seemed like a lifetime. You probably didn't think you were ever going to get out. I came into the prison system, and I was doing a video program while I was in prison, and that's how I met Rodney. He joined our ranks of the video production group.
Oh, good. Good.
So yeah, he really wanted to do it and enjoyed doing it. And talk to me about because this is not about me. Talk to me about when I first went to the prison, and what were you thinking about? Because you had a mindset when I met you.
So my mindset was learning the audio, video, visual thing. I really wanted to get into it. And my principal at the time, Mr. Durant, used to always show me videos of Mario Hernandez, of all the stuff he was doing where he was at in Orofino. And I was watching his videos, and I really dug his videos. And I thought, man, this guy, he really knows his stuff,
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to meet Mario, and I wanted to be like him. I wanted to learn what he knew, and I needed knowledge from him. And I remember at the time, our principal was trying to get him into our institution, but somehow they wouldn't let him go from where he was at. And there was a little struggle between the wardens, right? And
was it a bidding war?
Yeah, it was
a little worse than that, but yeah.
They wouldn't let him come over and stuff. And then one day when I was looking at I think I was doing what program I was doing. It was a project. I think it wasn't the Da Vinci. It was
something else. It was
a different program, a lower grader of a program that I was working with. And then my principal calls me into the office and says, "Hey, come here." So I go down there, and he says, "Guess what?" I said, "What's that?" He said, "Mario's coming down." He told me Mario was going to be coming. So I was so happy. I was happy to finally meet him. And when he actually showed up, I think I met him. He was sitting in the office with Mr. Wardwell, Kim Wardwell, and they were interviewing and stuff. And I was so excited. I can remember that. I was so excited that I ended up got him, took him on a tour of what we were doing and stuff, and how I was doing what I was doing, and then he took it from there, showing me that he's I'm going to teach you something, give you a better program, and sure he did.
But you were already part of a video program.
No. I was trying to get something started there.
You were trying to
get what he was doing over there, and I was just so into it that I thought it was what our institution needed. Yeah. But I didn't know the knowledge that he had, and I was trying to.
You got to the point where you wanted to build your knowledge, and you knew Mario was the place to go.
Yeah, and so I just started flying underneath him, and they brought him
cool
in.
Stuff.
Yeah. Oh man, we did.
We did podcasts, video podcasts. We did newscasts. We did. We made a TV station.
The TV station. Yep. What is it? The Yard Buzz.
The Yard Buzz. The podcast.
The podcast. Nice. Yard Buzz. And right around that time when he showed up, things were crashing because of the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And everything just died and froze. And it took a little bit, but after it started season up, coming, we were able to go back into the institute, go back to the education department and start working, but just the workers, you know. And
so did education change your life? Just talk about the education building, right? Because that's what they say.
Yeah.
And this is a true testament to this, Rodney's like, when they say education and rehabilitation and treatment is the way to stay out of prison, education, people, when they get out, their chances to recidivate are way down. So that helped you, right?
Yes, it definitely did. I don't think I would be here today if I had not got my education.
Yeah.
Further my education. Even though I got my GED back in 1991, but I was in the Idaho Maximum Security Institution, IMSI. And I remember it was a time, where it was at the beginning of the time where I was sentenced for that murder case and stuff, and for the thing that happened. And I can remember a time that when I was on the yard, everybody was making a fuss about why I wouldn't go to school. I had to go to school or else I'd get punished. I'd go into confinement and stuff. And I was just so adamant that I was like, no, I'm an inmate now. I don't have to go to school. But they had their rules and you had to, but I didn't want to. And I remember there was a couple of friends of mine that always would tell me, come on, man, get to school. You need your education. And I would tell them, no, I don't. My dad didn't have it. I don't need it. And so I remember after this incident that happened, they had me in confinement for all this time. Everybody forgot about me. They didn't care about me getting my education anymore. And, for anybody that's done time, they can tell you, being in a cell 24, 23 hours a day, it gets very monotonous, very bored. And I remember one time I just got so sick of it, man, that I was lonely. I was depressed. And I ended up going in handcuffs to a law library, and I saw one of my friends there, and I asked him, hey, help me get my education, my GED. And his name was Anthony Tony Kuntz. And the man sat there with me and gave me all these books on how to prepare for your GED. And he told me I would help you. And I said, okay. And he would send me on my way. I would come every week, twice a week to the library, and he would check my test out and everything. And boom, I'd go back and do my work and come back. And it came to the point where I can remember it really good that he went to vouch for me after he figured that I could pass my GED. I didn't think I could, but he said I could do it. He set something up with the education department to allow me to take my test. But being that he was the one mentoring me and testing me, and I didn't do it through the education, they didn't want to let me. But somehow he finagled and got them to let me take my test. And I took all my tests and I passed them.
Yeah.
I took every one of them. My government test was my highest one that I made. At that time, we had to do like 6 tests. And I passed them all.
Yeah.
And got my GED.
You always knew you were a smart guy.
Yeah.
You just had to apply yourself.
Exactly.
You had to get to that point. Huh?
It's a hard thing when you're a youngster and you're in there. It's kind of hard because I think we're so impressionable still. That we want to fit in, and find our spot, our place in that world. But I can tell you right now that I am so grateful for how IDOC is today compared to back when I was there. Today we have a very good system, for education, for programs, for the things that are being allowed to happen now would never happen back in my days when I first started.
Yeah.
So, and I contribute a lot of that to Mario's video editing thing, the stuff that he's done, the push that he has pushed, IDOC to help and better the people. A lot of people don't want to, probably don't want to think like that, but they do. I do, because it was from people like him, that actually pushed and started. Let's start these programs and better the community inside.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, when they get out, they'll have a chance to get out and stay out. So
yeah. You have to think that you knew that you wanted to learn more about video, so you kind of pushed it too.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
I could say I got it. I pushed. I know I pushed. But it was our staff though. We had some really good staff, and I'm going to tell you one of the best staff that I have. It was Lieutenant Stelzer. Lieutenant Stelzer, man, that was the man. Let me tell you, when I met him and I started working for him, and he pulled me into work for him under the pandemic thing, that's how I really got to know Stelzer. And then I was doing a little bit of filming and stuff and everything. And but that man, yeah, he was awesome. I don't know how many people know about Mr. Stelzer, but yeah, Mr. Stelzer was.
I think we've talked about him once or twice in this show.
I've heard him mentioned.
Yeah.
Do you talk about him in the same terms?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, he's a great man.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you, Rodney.
Yeah, what a great story. We still have much more of it, so don't go away, okay? Yeah, this is Reformed and Real. My co-host Mario Hernandez and our guest Rodney Araiza, and we'll be right back. Yeah, welcome back to Reformed and Real. I'm Wayne Burt, joined in the booth with my co-host Mario Hernandez and our guest Rodney Araiza. Great story.
Thank you.
So, we talked about your childhood a little bit, touched on it, and we touched about education. And now let's switch gears and let's talk a little bit about what's Rodney doing today. Like, because you've been out how long now?
2 years, a little over 2 years.
Success, ladies and gentlemen. That is success. He has been out doing that thing. This is what we're talking about, Rodney. We're talking about how when people get out, that everybody can do it. Anybody can do it. Do you remember a phone call that you made to me the day after you got out? You were walking down the street. Do you remember what you told me?
That I was free.
Yeah, not just that. I'm going to remind you. So my phone rings, and I look out, it's Rodney, and I answer. I'm like, "What's up?" He says, let's hear it.
I was lost.
No.
Not the part
After that. So he says, "Man, Mario, you should see the flowers."
Oh.
He said, "Man, everything's so beautiful out here." He says, "I'm looking at the mountains, I'm looking at the flowers in these yards." You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And we were on a video call too, and you were showing me. He says, "Check out these flowers. Check this trees out." And I'm like,
and you know what it was? I cannot remember. It's because I was walking back from a job back to the Catalpa house where I was living, and my boots I was on fire. My feet were on fire.
Yep, I remember. Yeah,
I couldn't walk, and I was like, man, I didn't know how far I was away from where I was at, right?
And you were lost that time.
And I was lost, and Mario was showing me how to use a GPS system on my phone. I was like, wow. Yeah.
So you were directionally lost. You weren't like lost in your life.
No, directional, because I got hired. So I got hired to do a landscaping job, and the person that hired me, it was a lady that I met at one of the AA groups, and one of the questions was, when I did a little talk there, they knew that I just got out, and they wanted to know what was kind of the hardest thing for me. And I told them that it was trying to find a job, because at the time it was, because I just barely got out. And she asked me if I knew anything about landscaping. I told her, yeah, know a little bit. And if I don't know it, I'm sure I can learn it. So she hired me, and she's asking how was $20 an hour. And I said, man, heck yeah, that's good. That's like
better than 10 cents.
Yeah, no. So I was telling her, I said, in prison I was making 10 cents to 40 cents an hour, and that's the most I can make. So $20 an hour is good, really good. And I told her, I said, but I don't have a way to get there, and stuff. And she says, "Where do you live? I'll come and pick you up, and I'll take you back." And she did that for about a week, And then one day she had to, and that was the day that I called Mario. She wasn't able to come take me back home. She took off. And so I told her, "Don't worry about it. I'll walk." I figured I can go. I know how to do this. And I took off, and that's when I remember seeing, I was like, because it was summertime still, and everything was so pretty, all the flowers. I'm a tree hugger, by the way, I love trees, because you don't see them in prison,
Sure.
And so, and I thought, man, where am I at, and that's when I decided to call Mario, and tell him, hey, check this out.
Yeah.
And I do remember, because he laughed at me.
Tell him how beautiful it was, but also tell him you were lost.
Yeah, that's funny. He's all, "You should see these flowers, man. They're beautiful." And
That's great.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Because, after, serving 42 years, you don't, at the time, institutions don't beautify the prison system, so you don't really get to see any of that. Mm-hmm. One gets to only see an ugly side, of life. And
Yeah.
And that was at a time that I didn't think I was going to get out, that I wasn't going to make it out of prison. And I remember Mario used to always say, yeah, you're going to get out, bro. They're going to let you out. They're going to let you out. But I didn't have any faith at the time, you know. I wasn't really looking at getting out, you know. And then to be able to get out and finally get out and actually see the beauty of what it truly is to be free, it was awesome. It was awesome for me, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, so.
Yeah, it really shows how young you were at heart, and really young, period, because, you know, 60 years old, 59 years old or not, you spent so much time in prison, you're still a youngster when you get out because you don't know anything about the world. And it was such a good time. And, you know, you came back from that now. So where did you go from there? You were at Catalpa House, and then?
I was at the Catalpa House, you know, and I'm kind of one of those believers that I've always heard about the sober living houses, halfway houses and stuff, you know. But one of the things that I've learned in prison was that it was hard for people to find a place to live. And I always thought, well, halfway houses, and even though they're there to help people, they're like a stepping stone, you know, to help people to get out. And once they get on their feet, and then they can move on and go. And that's what I did. You know, I ended up getting there. I got the job.
It was a challenge getting there, though, right?
Yeah, it was. They didn't want to let me out at first because it was hard. It was hard. I couldn't find a place that would accept me at the time. That's, you know, we can take it a little step back. I couldn't find a place to accept me because of my crime, you know. And it really wasn't, if it wasn't for Mario knowing the person that he knew who allowed me to get out, I mean, to accept me at their place, it would have took a little longer to get there.
Yeah.
And who is that guy? Because he's an amazing dude, right?
Yeah, he is. And that was Doug French.
Yes.
Who runs a sober living house at the Catalpa House. You know, he did an interview with me and Mario and another friend and with my people before they let me out, so they get to know me, who I was. And they let me out, and eventually I became a manager there, you know, and helped around the house. They loved the way I did the landscaping all around the house and stuff, you know. And to this day, man, me and him are really tight still, you know. I moved on, you know, to get a better place, because I got a place, I worked for a different company, and, you know, started doing everything. And yeah, it just kept on. And it's just like I'm one blessing after another that my road was going, and I was learning so much so fast, you know, and I was absorbing it all, that I got to a point to where I felt that I could actually go live on my own. And that's what I did. I went to find a place closer to where the company I was working for, and it was like amazing, because I had to just walk downstairs. I was on the top floor, and our office and where I had to get was on the bottom floor, and I just had to walk downstairs to get to my job and go to the office. And then our boss would tell us what's going to happen, where we're going, and then we get in the truck and go on to our business. Perfect. You know, so it was a perfect thing for me. Yeah. You know, I didn't have to go 30, 40 minutes out of my way to get to a job.
Yeah, so no getting lost.
Yeah, you know, but yeah, and you know, I've had some really great talks with my, you know, Doug French, and it was a blessing, you know, that he gave me that opportunity.
Yeah,
you know, because some of the other halfway houses didn't want to give it to me.
Yeah,
you know, and he says he never regrets it. You know, so yeah. I'll be going up to working for him here pretty soon. As soon as he paid me $50 an hour.
Well, good. You can drive a hard bargain now, man.
Did you hear that, Doug? $50 an hour.
Yeah, that's what he wants. Okay, we're the labor negotiators.
Yeah.
So you recently, you're obviously you're looking at other things in the future, but you just launched your own business.
Yes, I did. I launched Second Chance Services, LLC. I want to be able to give back to the community and help other ex-convicts coming out, residents coming out. I want to give them a job for them to learn and get better and get in the spot that I've gotten, because I feel like I've done 42 years straight. For somebody as myself, who was so ignorant of the world, of the technology, you know, to come out after that long and be able to make it, I can honestly say that if I can do it, and I believe that the majority of us, what we need is we really need that person to really believe in us. And if I had not had Mario, if I would not had Doug French, all these other people that are helping me, I probably would not have made it. It made it easier for me, you know, to be able to be surrounded by people that were like-minded, that want to force you to help you get on, you know, and make it in society. And I truly believe that that's why I'm here still, because I really have a strong support system. Yeah. Support people around me.
Now you're stepping into that role.
And exactly. Now I want to step in that role and give back and help others, you know. I already have the business going, you know. I'm just doing one step at a time. And it's the same thing. And what's the ironic about this is that Mario has the nonprofit Learning How to Live. That's exactly what I'm doing, learning how to live.
Yep. Sounds like you titled that pretty accurately there, Mario.
Yeah. Man, I got to say, you know, obviously we all have busy lives, you know, and we lost touch a little bit, but we always seem to reconnect a little bit along the way. But the progress that I see and the progress that, you know, that everybody else sees is amazing. And Rodney, that's what people need to see out here. Is it doesn't matter if, how bad the community sometimes tends to look at people that get out of prison, right? And it's our job right here to tell the stories of the people that are transitioning to the community and tell them that anybody and everybody that gets out of incarceration is capable of that change. And you have found it. Yeah. And, you know, it's crazy because, are you happy?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm overjoyed. And, you know, and it's a blessing. I wake up, you know, a lot of people ask me, how come you're not angry? You know, why aren't you sad or hurt? And I said, you know, because all that I was at one time, and it poisoned me, and I feel like it kept me inside for so long that it didn't allow me to see anything, to see the real beauty of life and the people around me that surrounded me. And I look back at times that when people did try to help me, I didn't think they were trying to help me. I always thought they were trying to play me, that they were trying to manipulate me or whatever, you know, into doing, you know, their bid. But in reality, there are people that want to help you, you know. It's just the way of our mindset is. And mine for so long was just, it was bad. You know?
Sure.
But when you open that door and you give that person that chance and you see it, it just continues. And that's what I think has been happening to me, that, like I say, when I go to bed, I kind of go to bed, I feel like I go to bed happy and I wake up happy. You know, I don't think, to be quite honest with you, I've had not one bad experience or bad day since I've been out in the last 2 years, you know, because no matter what, if it's a setback or whatever, it's not a big one. I know I've learned how to take the bad and make it good. And if I can't do it by myself, then I go and I call on the people that support me.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, and they teach me, they'll help me.
Yeah.
Rule number one. Yeah.
Freedom's a big miracle, and you're not taking it for granted.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely not. Yeah. I don't take that for granted.
Yeah. Are you still moved by the flowers?
Oh yeah, I plant flowers now.
Nice. You're helping that part out too.
I plant
That's
flowers.
great.
I beautify people's yard.
Yeah, it's funny. I had a customer come in here for a purpose, and I just started talking with them, and the lady says, "Well, you know, my mom's getting older, and gosh, I sure wish that I could find somebody to help her with the landscaping." And I said, "Oh, I know just the right guy." And now they're like Rodney's best friends now. They're taking pictures with them, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna have a barbecue. We're gonna have Mario and Rodney over. We're gonna."
I can remember when I first got that, because I don't think I heard from Mario. It was that person, I think, just called me and said, "Hey, do you know Mario?" I said, "Yeah." Well, Mario referred me to you, and so that's when we went from there. And she asked me, I can remember, she started asking me if I knew about landscaping. And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, I need you to work for me. Will you work for me a couple hours and do a little thing, something small, and depending on how we get along from there, we can, I'll decide on what to do." And I said, "Oh, girl, we're going to get along." I says, "We're going to get along." I says, "I'm a very likable guy." I says, "Man, I'm awesome." I says, "I'm a hard worker." And sure enough, now she calls me cousin. We're cousins.
And it's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
It's awesome.
She introduced me to her mom, and her mom loves me, and I work for her mom too.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, handcrafted.
Yeah.
That's how you build a business, man.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
Some of the great stories, I got to tell you, I'm proud that you went over a lot of hurdles, and I've watched you. I get busy, but I still watch you. I still see what's going on, and I haven't seen you falter. And I know that you have a faith as well that guides you too. Yeah. And I like to talk about that a little bit, just because you're a faithful person, right, Rodney?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
And going back a little bit, when I was telling you about my upbringing, my father didn't believe in Christ. He didn't believe in religion or anything, and so I don't know if I was an atheist, or I just don't ever remember wanting to learn about God. And so I remember it took me a while, so I never believed, but it wasn't until 2010 my mother passed away. And I remember I used to do tell her a lot of things that I was going to do to when I got out, if I ever got out, because I was still hurt, and things were happening to my mom that that I didn't like, and she was passing away in 2005, and May 2nd, 2005, she passed away. But before she passed away, I was able to talk to her for about a 5-minute call. I was living in Florida. I was in the prison system up there, and it was kind of bad, and worse than Idaho was. And I can remember hearing my mom's voice, talking to her, and she was telling me to be good. She was telling me to behave. And I could always remember telling her, "Mom, I tried. I done everything." In her dying bed, she tells me he didn't try everything. I said, "Mom, I did." And these are her last words to me. She goes, "You didn't try God." Wow. And I tell you, at the time, it didn't really dawn on me. It didn't really faze me. I mean, I didn't understand it. But I was just in tears. They hung up the phone on me. That's how it was brutal. I was so mad. They hung up the phone on me because they only gave you the 5 minutes. I remember going back to my bunk area, crying. I was in pain. I was hurting, and I really wanted to do some things that I don't want to talk about now, but I know God took those thoughts away from me, and as time went on, now that I realize it. But I think it was like a couple years later, some friends helped me get back to Idaho. And I remember coming to back to Idaho after she passed away. They were trying to get me here to be here to see her.
So you were in Florida, right?
Yeah, and I was in Florida.
Prison.
Yeah. But she passed away before I could actually see her, before I got here. But when I got here, when I really focused and I thought about what she said was, I kept getting locked up back and forth in confinement because of my past. And even though I was changing my life and I was trying to direct myself in a better path, my name kept coming up because of who I was in the past. And I kept getting locked up. And it was in 2014 that I just my last time that they locked me up. And I said, because my names kept popping up while I was there, I remember when they shut the door on me, I cried. I cried like a child, got on my knees. I was in pain. And I can remember hearing my mom's voice, "You never tried God. You never tried God." And sure enough, I said a prayer and said, "Man, I don't know who you are, anything about you. But if you're truly out there, I am seeking your help." And I look back, when I went to bed that night, I went to bed in peace. When I woke up the next morning, I was at peace. I got up and I filed a grievance, because you can file a grievance. I felt like they wronged me. They shouldn't have locked me up. And I filed a grievance, and 30 days later, I won it. And I was let back out. And I made a promise to God that I would continue and follow him. And sure enough, I went to church. Doors were opening that I could never imagine would open. I was being allowed to go to school. I became a teacher assistant for a really good teacher, Mr. Durant.
Mm-hmm.
I was working for him first. Then Mr. Strobel came in. I met some people that came in. I became a facilitator for the Alternative to Violence Project. I started teaching for almost 8 years, twice a week at in the chaplain area against violence. I spoke against violence. Doors just opened up to where now, because I really truly believed in Christ, that and I believe that when God realized that I was truly had my eyes open, that I was being sincere, that he gave me these blessings. I started a Mexican American history program in there. We taught the Mexican.
Yep.
I taught a lifers program. I was being blessed in every angle that was happening that could never happen before, and I contribute that because I truly believe in Christ now. So without God, I don't think I would never have been able to make it. So that's where my belief is, and I still now I go to church every Sunday. I do my thing. I give back to the community, and I just try to stay and walk that faith, continuously.
Well, good. So that's the story that we tell for everybody out there, is that redemption is out there for anybody that wants it. And I'm always a firm believer, Rodney, and everybody wants change. Not everybody knows how to get it. Most people don't use their support systems, and you did. And that's not just impressionable, but it's important, and it's valuable to show people that are out there that are listening that they know that if you make that choice to use your support systems the way you're supposed to, because it's preached in there, but some people are like, yeah, support system, whatever, but when you really do use it, you stay out.
You stay out.
Yeah, you stay out.
And that's something that I've learned. Because as you remember, when we first met, I was trying to do a recidivism documentary. And I interviewed a lot of people because I wanted to know, why are you coming back to prison? You haven't been out but 90 days or 30 days or whatever, 60 or, they don't last very long out there. And a lot of them would always come back because they said that they wouldn't tell me things that, the probation officer didn't like me or they would always have an excuse that I felt like, nah, it can't be like that. You're just not doing the right thing. Something's wrong there, but they try to always convince me that it was somebody else's fault. And I get out here now and I see the real interactions. I interact with the probation officers and parole. I interact with officers and everything. And, it's how we react and we respond to them that makes a choice of how they're going to deal with us. You know, if we make that bad choice and we don't, you know, do the right thing, then, well, this is what's going to happen to you.
That's it.
And that's what's been going on.
That's it.
They don't want to accept the responsibility, or face the truth of what they're doing, they cause, because we make our own choices.
Right.
You know, and I think I believe I know I have hard times. I really do have hard times, but the positive side to that is that, like what you just said, Mario, is that I learned how to utilize my support team. If I didn't use that support team to get the help and the talk to help me understand things, I probably would have failed too, you know.
Yeah.
But it is solid that you have to go after your support team, you know.
Yep. Well, yeah, and if people say, "Hey, my support team isn't big enough," you guys keep adding numbers to the support team, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's you know, it's been a great story, Wayne and Rodney. Can I get one message from you that you want people to hear? And let's kind of group a bunch of people in. People that are listening that have never been in prison, people that have family members that are in prison, people that just got out of prison, people that are in prison, because this will still be on the air through the prison system, because they can still get on 89.9 FM and get it there at Radio Boise. And yeah, what can you tell everybody?
You know, for those who are still incarcerated that can listen and know me, they know my history, they've been around me through the bad and the good. I'm sure they can see the change. They saw the change. I'm out now. I'm free when we never thought I'd ever be out. To be in the spot where I'm at, I feel that a lot of us have to change. And that change that you make, you have to make it within yourself. If you don't make that change within yourself and accept that change, then it's going to be hard for you, no matter what. If you come out here, even if you have a support group or whatever, it's going to be hard because it has to start within yourself. That's number one. For those who are still or who have loved ones incarcerated, don't ever give up on them. Because the moment that you give up, that's when they give up. I've been there, and I've been through that. When people are incarcerated and they feel no hope, that they don't have anybody behind them, they lose and they get lost. And it's hard to find them. So don't ever give up on them. You know, so
it's a great message.
Yeah, very great. Yeah.
Thanks for your story.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. I really appreciate it, Rodney.
Good episode. Could be a series.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a pleasure having you in, Rodney. And we'll have another one soon. Maybe next week, huh, Mario?
Yeah. Next week, a week from today.
Sounds good. Well, this has been Reformed and Real. I'm one of your hosts, Wayne Burt, joined by Mario Hernandez. Thanks for listening. See you next week.
Yeah, see you next week.